living the life we imagined. I cut off all my distractions and started attacking. Whole team gotta have it. Loyalty is all I'm asking. Wear a diamond medallion. My whole squad run the Atlas. Look, I feel like I was chose to take care of the ones I'm close to.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to this week's episode of Ask Mike Anything. Got some great questions from you guys. I can't wait to answer them. I'm just headed to the office here, and I'll be taking some video over the course of the next few days. Got a busy office day today. Already had a bunch of stuff that happened this morning. And then later on tonight, I catch a flight back to Cleveland, Ohio, the home of the world champion Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James, the greatest basketball player on the planet. You know, I gotta give my love to Cleveland because that's where I was born and raised. But I'm gonna be shooting a little bit in Cleveland, answering some of your questions. Maybe we'll get to spend some time with my daughter. She's my heart, my everything. And so anyways, I'm looking forward to talking with you guys this week and answering your questions. Hopefully all you had a great week this past week, and that this next week's gonna be even better for you. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Getting ready to head over to Cleveland and go hit the airport, so I figured what I would do is just maybe take this time to answer a couple questions. And the first question that I'm going to answer comes from Brian Hess. And so Brian says, you mentioned that one of the things Marcus taught you was how to think big when it comes to setting goals and achieving results. What are your goals over the next 5 years? How often do you write them down? And what do you do to hold yourself accountable to the goals that you set? Brian, it's a great question. My belief in goals, and this is also something that I learned from Marcus, was that with goals, we set very short-term goals and try to sprint to those goals. We find that shorter sprints are more exciting for people than long-term goals where, you know, your organization can change so much. And so the longest that I'll go on a goal will be, I'll always give an annual goal of what we're trying to hit for the year. Although I have to tell you that after the first quarter, I already adjusted the annual goal. But more quarterly goals. You know, 90 days is about the max that I'll go for a real goal. Absolutely write your goals down. Absolutely have a 5-year vision for where you want to go, but make sure that you're willing to change that. Don't be so locked in on it, especially up, which most of the time, if you're doing the things the right way on a daily basis and a weekly basis, you are going to be pushing that number up. You're going to find that if you build a good organization, you're going to do more than you ever thought that you could do. And that's kind of been my experience so far, so I've been pretty fortunate. So I make this trip every other weekend to go see my daughter up in Cleveland. I got divorced a few years ago in 2012, and when I moved to Houston, I made a commitment that I would go back and visit her every other weekend, so it keeps me pretty busy. But I know the airport pretty well. I can walk around with a camera and still know where I'm going. But this is a day in the life, so this happens pretty often, so I'm excited that you guys are on this journey with me too. I love the B gate because it's the gate that's got Whataburger, which is a Texas staple. Alright guys, so Josh just finished up with my hair. I know you're probably wondering, how does it look? First I just wanted to let everyone know, but you could see he's like a magician with those shears. How long have you been doing this, Josh?
15 years, buddy.
15 years?
15.
How many years would you say it took for you to get really great at it?
I'm still not really great.
Every
day I work at it, baby.
Process, right?
It's progress, not perfection.
What advice would you give everyone watching? Business, they want to be successful in business, they want to be successful in a marriage, they want to be successful at their career, a hobby. What's your tip? Comes first tip off the top of your head.
First tip.
Well guys, we're at the Easter Bunny now. We're about to go see the Easter Bunny. It's about to go down, so Abby's pretty excited. Excited?
Yeah.
Coming to you from South Park Mall in Strongsville, Ohio. Interesting fact, Strongsville actually is the home of John D. Rockefeller. He's from Strongsville, Ohio, so one of the wealthiest men that ever lived. Here with my daughter. But I did want to answer another one of your questions for AMA this week. And the question comes from Chantal Albert. Chantal asks, I know setting high, extreme goals are important, but how do you handle it when you don't meet those goals? How do you keep from getting discouraged? Chantal, that's a great question. So when trying to achieve goals, my advice is to always engineer a process to get there. And so it's really focusing on the process to get your goals. So when I set goals for our organization or for myself, I'm always trying to think to myself, based on where I'm at in the process, based on where I've grown as a person, as a leader, as a producer, this is where I believe I could hit the mark. And then what I do is I reverse engineer it, so I back it up and I figure out what I need to do to reach that goal. And if it's like way out and there's no way that I'm gonna hit it, then what happens is that I may adjust the goal, or I don't get as disappointed, because I would rather fail at going after something really big than succeed at going after something really small. They say the danger is not in setting your goals too high and missing, but it's in setting your goals too low and hitting them. And that's so true. A lot of times people stay in their comfort zone. So what I would tell you is that in life and in business, there are going to be a lot of times that you don't hit your goals. There's going to be a lot of times when you're going after something and things happen and you don't hit your goals. I don't worry about it. I try to see, what did I learn from that experience? I take it, and then I will use it. The next time that I set goals to be a little bit more precise, or to know where I need to improve in different areas. And so, I don't get discouraged. Try not to get discouraged about things that are over with and done with and you can't control. And the reality is that once the time has passed, and whether you hit the goal or you don't, it's over. And so take as many lessons as you can, apply them, and continue to push forward and move forward. That's the biggest key in business and in life, is never stop moving your feet, never stop moving forward. Just landed, heading back home here from the airport in Houston, George Bush Intercontinental Airport. And I wanted to answer a question that was sent in by Andrew Siebert. What's up, Siebes? So Siebes asks, I wanted to ask if you had a manager or an agent who isn't performing to their optimal level, not as inspired as at first. How would you reignite their flame and approach the situation? This is a great question. Excellent question from young Andrew Siebert over there in North Royalton, Ohio. So Siebes, my answer to that question is, first of all, one of the things that you put in your question is that, they don't have the same drive that they had in the beginning. And that happens a lot. And so why would that happen? Let me give you an answer. The reason that happens is because when somebody is new, they're excited because they haven't experienced a lot of failure. So what happens is that failure will harden you. Failure will make you kind of hold back. So, if I go into a situation for the first time and I'm being coached by my mentor, by my leader, to go in and handle a certain situation, whether it's in a leadership capacity or I'm out there producing or selling, and what happens is that, the first time that I go into it, I really don't know what to expect. I don't have natural defenses. But over time, through failure and through things necessarily not always going the way that we want them to, we build up these defense mechanisms. And the way the brain works is it tries to protect us from being hurt. And you see this all the time. I mean, it's not just in business, it's in relationships. And someone may be in a relationship, they have a bad relationship. All of a sudden, they don't want to be in another relationship again because they've experienced pain and hurt. And so, it's very normal and very natural for that to happen. So a couple things. Number one is that you've got to coach your people proactively and let them know to focus on the process. We talk a lot about process, process over production, process over production. And so being focused on the process takes the result out of it. If you just focus on the right process with a great attitude and a great work ethic, the idea is that you're gonna get the result. When you're in a performance-based environment, you can't be so emotional from day to day or week to week if a day doesn't go the right way or a week doesn't go the right way. The idea is to focus on the process so that you can get things to get back to where they need to be. The second thing you want to focus on is the person's purpose. There's a great speech that was given by Albert Gray. You guys can find that speech online. Just Google Albert Gray, the common denominator of success. And if I were to have to give anybody just one talk that they can focus on and read, and if it was like, what's the secret to being successful in business, this would be it. Basically what he says is that the people who are successful are willing to do the things that unsuccessful people are not willing to do. But he asks the question, he says, why would someone be willing to do it and other people not? And he said it's because of their purpose. You know, you've got to have a purpose that's strong enough to get you to do things you don't like to do. And success is about doing a lot of things you really don't like to do. And so, you know, when we talk about someone, you know, having some failures or not being as excited, they probably forgot about the reason why they're doing it. This is why I always say that relationships are really the key to building an organization. You have to have great relationships with your people, because it's not enough for them to be motivated only by the team winning. I mean, once in a while you're going to have a player that's that way. They're such a team player, and that's what their motivation is, but that's their purpose. But most people, you know, whether it's that they want to achieve something for their family, they want to, you know, go into a nicer home, they want a better education for their kids, they want to help out their church more, whatever it may be, they've got to have a purpose that will get them to do the things that they don't want to do. So always remind them of their purpose. Thanks for joining us on this week's Ask Mike Anything. For those of you that asked some questions and we used your questions, we're going to be sending you Sacrifice Creates Opportunity hats. They're brand new. Actually, they're in production, so it's going to take us probably a couple weeks to get them out to you, but we won't forget. And we'll be doing the same thing for next week. You know, if your question is selected, because we're not going to be answering all the questions. We're getting too many of them at this point. But if your question is selected, we'll send you a hat for asking a question. And for those of you that want to connect with us, check out our Vasu Agency of American Income Life Texas Facebook page. Also check us out on, check me out on Snapchat, Mike Vasu, if you want to get a really uncensored view into my life. And I really appreciate the time you spend with me. I'm looking forward to spending more time with you next week and answering your questions. Till then, have a great week.